Hi, everybody. God bless you. Welcome to the Purpose or Your Purpose to Stand series. Alrighty, so just share as you come on. Share as you come on. Good night, sis. How you doing? Alrighty, so we'll be having a guest tonight, and basically she'll be speaking about how she stand in purpose amidst the abuse. The topic is, God bless you, Landy. God bless you, Janelle. The topic tonight is the heart of the abuse. So she'll be with us shortly, and it's gonna be powerful, right? It's a new series. We're looking at purpose. We're looking at how you go through and still remain contented, or you go through and still remain and know that God is for you and not against you. So as you come on, just share the video as you come on, so we can definitely go forward with this. Alrighty, I want us to share and let me know how you guys been doing. How is the week for you, etc. Alrighty. I'm trying to pull up these different platforms so I can share even. Right. So just share as you come on. I'm trying to. God bless you. 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 So one moment, please. Alright, thank you guys for waiting on me. Alright, so I'm gonna ask you all to share if you can. Alrighty, sorry about that just now. And share on YouTube as well. If you could put the YouTube if you could put the YouTube link on your status, because I'm trying to pull up my other phone, but okay, I just got it. Alrighty, I just got it. So I'm trying to pull up. And I'm waiting on the guest because she's coming on in a few seconds from now. So hallelujah. So as I was saying, it's a new series, and basically it is just to help us as Christian. The Christian community, we are weak, and so I think it was just thoughtful to know so many things you might be going through, so many things you want to do and you're aspired to do, but you are yet to do it because you got no vision, you got no drive, you got no strength. The purpose is there, but it's not motivated, it's not self-driven. You got nothing to inspire yourself, and so, and this amazing speaker, she surfaced on the platform and stand at the pace of saying she's as inspires and not a motivational speaker, because it, when you inspire somebody, it takes them inside, it goes deep, in other words, right? I think she'll give you more highlights on that. but I think it meant so much because a lot of times we just want to know what's going on, why we can't get to what we dream for, what we've been envisioning since we can't get it. Sometimes it's just because of that one thing. We're not strengthened internally. And when we're not strengthened internally, this thing can messes with our peace. So that's basically our speaker will be talking about how she was abused. I will not let everything out right now because I want you guys to pay attention later. She was abused, but she's still standing. She have written a book that I was basically the I did host her seminar, her book, and she will be speaking on. She has a second book as well, so it's gonna be powerful. It's just gonna be too powerful. And so I want you guys just to be here, share the video, please share. I'm just asking you to please share, please share. God bless you, Latricia Hart. How you doing tonight? Are you hearing me? So I'm not sure everyone is hearing you, but I'm not hearing you. Yeah, we're not hearing any volume. Covenant Keepers, are you hearing her? I'm not hearing. Let me Covenant Keepers, let me know if you're hearing her already. Because me, I'm not hearing her. Oh, she's gone. I'm not sure. She seems like she have audio issues. Alrighty. God bless you as you come on. So let you share as soon as you're back on, just send me the invite again so I can bring you on. Alrighty. One moment, please. This platform always take me a little while to get up. Just share. Be sharing the video. Share in your groups on your WhatsApp. Just share for me. I appreciate you all that been sharing already. And may God, I'm not seeing your video, Letitia, but let me just invite you. May God help you to share. Are you guys hearing her now?
You're able to hear me now?
I think I'm hearing you now. Well, I think
I
they're
was
hearing you
trying,
now.
I was trying to join from the phone because the quality is a little bit better on the phone than the laptop.
Is it too low, guys? Covering keeper is track with me. Let me know if you're hearing her properly and if your hearing is perfect. So we can start in a few. Covenant Keepers, let me know if you're hearing her. Can somebody respond? Okay, alrighty. Thank you, Jody. Alrighty, so welcome, Latricia. How are you doing tonight? Thank you so much to take the time out from your busy schedule to be here. Let me just introduce you real quick. She's a writer, a woman of God, a purpose speaker, and also a wonderful mother. And I just think she's all around it. Like she's so amazing, and I think first and foremost, and in the middle and center, she's a strong person. So let me just invite Letitia to the platform. God bless you, Letitia.
Good night,
Go ahead.
family. And thank you so much for having me again, Mrs. Agbalusi. And thank you to your viewers for having me as well. I know they're used to you on the platform, and I'm a new face here. So thank you so much, guys, for having me tonight. Where do you
Okay,
want me to start?
so she's speaking from the topic, the heart of the abuse. I mean, should I go ahead and put a synopsis on it, or you just want to go right into it?
No problem. Go ahead, and then I'll go
I don't
into
really
it.
have much to say though, so don't put me on the spot too much. So she had written her book and she thought about her testimony. I mean, being abused by her father and basically still standing, still speaking purpose, still helping people, still praising God, still loving God, and not physical abuse, but sexual abuse. So she will now go ahead and speak on the terms and premises that she would like to speak on, and then we'll go into questions and answers and the Inspire segment. So you can go ahead, let you show.
Well, you mentioned not physical, but it was physical, emotional, sexual. It was all of them, family. And so it started, let me take y'all back. Uh, it's intergenerational, so it's coming down the line. It started when I was about 11, 12, thereabout. That's when you go to high school. So it started at that time. That was the first time I was meeting my dad. You know, I was pretty excited because I was like, okay. At first, I was nervous, to be honest, because this person has hurt other people in my family before. And so I was a bit skeptical at first because I'm like, okay, why would I need to go to this person? What if this person does the same thing to me? And then, I was advised that the person has changed. Okay. So I went there. I'm meeting this person for the first time. And the person was really nice at first, to be honest. Like they were extremely nice, they were treating me well. And then I started, okay, maybe the person actually changed and I have a dad now and all of that. But little did I know that that was to get me comfortable. That was to get me in a place to accept what is going to come. That is to get me to a place to ignore what was already done and not to think that it was going to come to me because this person was going to be so nice to me. But then I get to understand now that that is how your abusers lure you in. They treat you nice, they treat you well, they they make you feel so good around them, like they're the best person ever, because they know what is to come. You don't know, so you're just accepting them for what it is. And so it started there. Throughout my childhood, I would have I lived in Chicken Cove. Many people didn't believe, just I think it was this year or probably in the last year, I was talking to my cousin Leandra. Um, and she was reminding me that there was a day when I came to school. I was going to Claude McKay at the time, and I asked her to comb out my hair, and she saw the feathers in it, and she said something to her friend. So I didn't remember the whole thing. So I said to her, that's no, since I'm big. I said to her, so what did I say at the time? Because I'm imagining that I felt a way to know that, okay, my hair has feathers because I'm sleeping in a chicken coop, And there were also times while I was there with my dad when, like, when I go to school, people would have to wash my hair in the bathroom and stuff like that. Uh, and he abused me like every day. I remember one time, I'll never forget the day. It was a Saturday. I was sitting at the back door, and he said to me that I forgot to start the everything. So I'm like, everything? And he's like, yeah, even that, what you're thinking. And that was the day when I became a prostitute. Sometimes when I say it, people find it weird, but his thing was, when I went there, he was buying sex. His thing was that, okay, in order for you to go to school, I'm going to have to stop buying sex so that you can get the money. So then I'm in a position where if you don't get sex from me, that means, oh, you are not giving me any lunch money. And it lasted for a year. Many people ask, why did you stay in it so long? But until you've been in a situation, you won't really understand what it takes to get out of the situation. It takes more than just saying, okay, I'm just going to get up. Okay, I'm just going to kill this person in their sleep, and then I can just run away. It takes way more than that. And when another time I went through through physical abuse as well. So my dad would have physically and sexually abused me. I went through physical abuse with my child's dad. I have a son. For those of you who have read your copy of the book, I have a son. Even when I was pregnant, he would like kick me down the stairs or stuff like that. He would just beat me for anything. He had me. I think that, well, I was young at the time, so I wasn't looking into certain things, but now I'm looking into it and I'm like, the moment this man allowed me to leave my job should have been a red flag, because then you have me locked up in a house and you can go out and I don't really go anywhere, So that should have been a red flag. But then I was young and naive, so I didn't take it that serious. Yeah. Anything else that you want me to mention? Oh, you want me to continue?
No. You go on.
You want
Basically,
me to
I
tell the
told
rest
you
of the story?
choose. Are you hearing us start it? Choose where you want to stop at. So basically, you were saying that okay. So you start from where your father started and to your son's father.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So would you think it's a connection like it's just like it's a circle, or it's because you confided in this person to say this, you have passed through this? Why would have been the thing that would have been happening right after coming out of childhood with your father with that experience and right into the person that you should love, or they should be the one loving you?
Um, I would say, to be honest, it was more of a lack. Growing up through childhood, I didn't really have love or any of that. So, it's like seeking for something that you never had and thinking, okay, I can find it in this person. And then honestly, maybe after that it became a cycle, because some things, become acceptable. As I mentioned, I was young, so I wasn't thinking of it too hard. Okay, I endured this, I can endure this, because I even tried to stay for my son, even while he was being abusive. I tried to stay for my son, to say, okay, I really want him to have a dad, so I'm going to stay for that very reason.
Okay.
Okay.
So at any point in time were you like seeking some place of being centered or feel love or feel like you were actually meaning something to earth itself, or you just didn't understand why everything was just happening? It was just a scattering moment for you?
At any time while staying with my son's dad, or at any time in life?
Both, with your son's dad and growing up and being abused by your own.
All right. So with my son's dad, at first I felt love, because before anyone starts to abuse anybody, they put on a facade. They become this person who they have in their mind that they know that they should really be, but they're not. So they put on that mask until you accept them. So yes, in the beginning I felt love. Um, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if at that point I had a clear understanding of what love was, but I felt loved. I felt like somebody wanted me, for a better word. Um, Throughout my childhood, I to be honest with you, I'm not even sure. I spent most of my childhood like all over the place. So I wasn't at this one place where I could say, okay, this is how I'm feeling here for the last 3, 4, 5 years. I'm like here this year, here next year. I'm just like a rolling stone with no abiding city. Well, I was.
Okay, so in between that time and now, like it's a big gap. It's like a big growth because probably, I mean, your father is still alive, your baby father is still alive, and you're so strong enough to speak about this, not on the premises that you're trying to like allow them to look bad, but on the premises that
I
you were
can't say
past
that
that
I can't
stage.
say if they're
Not
alive or
fully.
not.
Go ahead.
I can't say if they're alive or not, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to them, so I don't know.
All right, so I was just trying to say though, like you're not speaking on promises to make none of them look bad, right? You're basically doing this to show that you're basically overcome that series of your life. Let me say series, that stage of your life, because you're now strong enough to look back in the situation to say, okay, it was this and really, but I still have this to do. Like Covenant Keepers and those who are viewing, this woman had been on TVJ doing interviews. She have written a book for those who are late. I was the person that basically hosts her seminar. She have been doing so many things right now, but during her childhood period and then getting into a relationship afterwards, it was nothing but abuse. But she's here. So quick question, Latricia. Between that time when you were in that situation, did you at any point look as though like you would get out, or you were just feeling as though you're gonna die there? Like at any twinkling time, were you saying, okay, things gonna get better, I will pass this fast one day? Were you speaking into your life at the time, or you were just saying anything is anything?
No, I was not. I was not speaking. I was listen. I was in full survival mode. So it was all about survival because for one, with my dad, I remember there was a time when he held a cutlass to my neck, you know. I saw death in that moment. So I'm not thinking, oh, you know, speak some life into yourself. I'm thinking like I'm in survival mode. What do I need to do in this exact moment? You know, um, with my child's father, you know, there was a time when at 3 o'clock I was walking to halfway tree, um, so I could save my life. You know, because when I left the house, I left there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I walked to halfway tree. To be honest with you, I don't know how I get there. I don't know how nothing did happen. I remember, if any of you on the platform are in Jamaica, you know, right across from NCB at the clock, there are some digital stalls in halfway tree. And I remember I was sitting there, and one of the lady at the stall, she was the one who asked me to come and sit under the stall because there were some homosexuals out there, and if any of you know what they do, they rob people when they're there. So they tried to, and she asked me to come and sit under the stall there with her. So I was pretty much in survival mode. You know, there were a lot of times when I didn't have anything to eat, so I'm not thinking far along the way. I'm thinking, okay, when I get $100, I'm going to buy a ginger beer because I need to get rid of the gas. Because you know, Jamaicans, ginger beer is good for everything. Ginger is good for everything. So that was me in full survival mode. There were a lot of times when even at Jubilee, Victoria Jubilee Hospital, I'm sure they must be really tired to see my face. Like I wasn't really sick throughout my pregnancy, to be honest with you, but um, I went there on purpose so I could get somewhere to sleep and so I could get something to eat, you know, just so I could survive. Because as I said, it was survival mode.
So though there was not providence in plenty, you still were in a mode of hope, because survival is basically hope, you know,
Yeah,
that
I
you will
still
get
had
there.
hope, to be honest. I still had hope. There were times when I felt like, okay, if I die, you know, you wouldn't have to deal with this. Um, there was also times when I tried as well, and when I see that it doesn't happen, I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm really supposed to be here. And in this moment, I'm thinking positive, and then probably the next moment, I'm snapping out of it just like that.
Can you repeat that again, please?
I'm saying one moment I'm feeling hopeful, and then sometimes at another moment I am just like whatever. I don't care again.
Yeah, yeah, that's a norm for persons who are going or been in the valley. That's like a norm, like a common place to be at, like whatever, because you can't help yourself. You keep pushing, but no real push is there. So, quick question: all of this that you've been through, what really motivated you to to go forward? Was it your son? Was it just you and life? Was it that you know that you were not having a mother figure because your mother had passed and every other thing? What pushed you to become a speaker, to be writing your testimony, your own very testimony, and also to be a woman of God, like trusting God, believe that there's a God? Because a lot of people in these eras and times, you go through bad breaks, people like, God is not real. Like, why would I be going through this? Like, why would God sit on his throne and be allowing this thing to happen? Like, what held you together in all this?
All right. So at the time, going through the childhood thing and with my child dad. So my mom had not passed at that time. To be honest with you guys, we never had a relationship. But that's a whole nother story for another time. Um, what really pushed me when I had my son, I think it gave me a different turn to life. And I started to realize that if I could have made it through that time when I had absolutely nothing, then that means I can do something now. Just the other day I did a podcast on dry bones, and I think I felt it so personal. I felt so personal with it because one thing I realized is that dry bones are always a part of life. Some people are always going to be mad at you. Hate will be coming at you. Sometimes you will be unloved. Sometimes you will be ridiculed and criticized. Sometimes people will judge you just the same. Failure will be coming at you. All of that will be coming at you. But at the end of the day, um, you have to realize that your dry bones can live. So what I had to do was to find the purpose in my pain, because I came to a place where I realized that sometimes we have to go through the things that we go through in order to be able to inspire others in terms of it. Because if this is my purpose and this is what God wants me to do, he doesn't want me to just come here and just talk about it because this is what other people are saying, this is what other people went through. He allowed me to go through it myself so that when I talk about it, you can understand that I too have been here before. And you see, the thing about your testimony is that it's not for yourself. Someone is banking on you to overcome what you're going through in order for them to live. And I like to use the story of the woman with the issue of blood. To be suffering for 12 years, you're like, okay, let me just give up. I don't need to be here. I don't need to do this. I'm tired. I'm sick. This is over me at this point. But guess what? She held on, and within that 12th year, when she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, she restored the faith of the little girl's mother. So someone is banking on you to go through what you have to go through in order for them to live. Because even when the father could have said, okay, she's dead, let me just go home, when he realized that this woman would have been suffering for 12 years and she still touched the hem of Jesus' garment, still believing, his faith was restored to believe also that my daughter can be healed even from the dead.
Yeah.
So I had to find a purpose in my pain. I had to realize that, listen, for too long, I've allowed people to be around the steering wheel of my life. And at some point, I have to grab myself up and say, Letitia, get a hold of yourself. You can't always depend on people to come through for you. What about trying to come through for yourself? I had to talk myself into it. And I'm not going to tell you guys it's easy. Trust me, it's hard. And even now, every day you still have to talk yourself into it, because life is life and things happen. And things happen every day. So not because something happened when I was a child, mean that it's nothing is ever going to happen again, because I've went through my fair share. Even then, I'm still going to go through something, and I still have to talk myself through it to say, you've come this far by faith.
Yeah.
So it was all of that. It was all of
Wow.
that. And then I had to look at my son. I had to look at my son because, at this point, I'm a single mom. If I'm not going to do it for him, who is going to do it for him? You understand? And he's small, so okay, he didn't ask to be in this world. He's already in the world. What am I going to do to make the world a little bit better for him?
Yeah, that makes sense. But I really, really, really admire the fact that you held on to the scriptures, because I mean it's really human, because when you got nobody as a human person, like a a physical backative. You know, God is the supreme being. You got no spiritual, no physical backative. You're like, okay, sister is not there, brother, the one father, the one partner. You know, all of those people would have been failing, right? And you could have in turn look in the scriptures, the woman with the issue of blood, and also that the dry bone story. I think that speaks volume in terms of you holding to purpose and holding to what God says you should become. And I do admire that. So I'm gonna take questions, viewers soon. But quick question again, Natisha. While writing the first book, I know you have another book, right? Called Becoming a Wife.
Yes.
Correct. That book is coming out, and people like that, she do have this book, so I'm gonna have her share the Amazon link on this video so you can get a copy. It's a powerful story. At one point, I was editing it at one point, but you know, it's a very powerful story, and I think you should get your copy up there to get up close and personal with the woman of God. So quick question, Letitia. In the middle of writing this book, was it a struggle to get this point out to let somebody know that if they were abused at any point in time by somebody they should call a family close person to them, uh should it like a voice? Was it like a voice that you wanted to be heard, whether you're sick, whether you're unable to write it, whether you're, you know, unable to, you just wanted to get it out as a message, or you just, you know, just wanted to write it with no inspiration? Like, what inspired you to speak the story, to be bold enough to speak about what happened in your family?
Let me start by saying when the time is right, I had the Lord that God will make it happen. So this was never a book. It was never a book. This was me just jotting down my story. You know, I'm going through this. I have nobody to talk to because for one, my dad did not allow me to talk to anybody. Like school finished at 3:45 and I have to be home at 4 o'clock. And for example, like that was just it. I'm home every day. I wash, cook, clean. That's pretty much my life. I go back to school, come back, wash, cook, clean, repeat cycle. So it was never a book. I was just jotting down. I felt like if I had nobody to talk to, I could always talk to my pen, to my paper, and then there were so much scary things happening. Like I'm like, okay, I can't tell people this because people see me every day. My classmates see me, and they don't know what I'm going through. If I tell them, then they're going to judge me, and I just want people to remember me as what I was at the time and not try to think of me of what I was going through or what I've been through. So I was just jotting it down. Then it came to a point where I wanted to turn it into a book, but it never happened then. Like it really never happened. It sat there for some time. Um, I was scared. There were different factors holding me back. Like I was like, okay, my mom is alive because before I did it, my mom was alive, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this because my mom, she don't talk about her story. She's gonna be so mad at me. I'm thinking like everybody's gonna come at me, and then my dad, he told me that he has to take me one day, some way, somehow. The day has not come as yet, but thanks be to God. Um, so I'm like, okay, there's a lot of factors why I can't let this out because once everybody knows, then I'm going to be in problem. My life is gonna be at stake. It's all going to happen. It's gonna go down. It was last year. I came up on the book in my email. It was just sitting there. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't even know how I came across it, but I did. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn this into a book. I didn't have the resources or anything, but I had determination. And at that point, I had people around me uh, who were a strong support system. So they were in the corner. You were there as well, so of course you understand. Throughout when it came down to me deciding that it's gonna be a book and I'm finalizing everything, I was still skeptical about a few things. But at that point, I wasn't dealing with the immediate trauma of it. At first, I was sad and all of that, but at the immediate time to publishing the book, I wasn't going through the trauma, so I wasn't thinking of it so bad. My main reason for writing the book is to inspire somebody else, to help them to understand that you are not the only person going through what you're going through. Someone else have been there and they
Mhm.
have survived. Their dry bones have lived. So what say you? You know, this is not the end of your road. This is not the end of your tunnel. Somebody made it through and you can make it through too. So I wanted people to
Powerful.
understand. And then I wanted to become a voice because I'm not gonna lie you. So I grew up in the country during that time, and a lot of kids in the country, even in the in Kingston as well, and surrounding areas that are more populated, these things happen and nobody talk about it. They hush it. People live with these things for years. They don't ever talk. They don't ever get over it. They're still going through it into their adulthood. And so someone had to speak up. Someone had to speak up. And so I took the initiative to not only create a healing space for myself, but also to create a healing space for my sisters and even my brothers, because males get raped as well, who are going through their valley and need a way out, or they need to be reminded that they too can get out.
That's powerful. That's like that's way powerful. And as a young woman in this era, we realized that even the news in Jamaica, we're in Jamaica, for those who are watching from every other places, even the news, there's a recent rape case, like everybody's talking about it. Like, I don't know if you would call what you've been through rape, or it just become a ritual in terms of on your father's side, because he said at one point in the book, at one point it was just like a routine for you, like, just okay, it's time, take it, so for persons who have been abused like this into that form sexually, and it's a close relative, I mean, how can they pull out of it with God? Like, I mean, they can always do it with a therapist, with a doctor, a counselor, but how did you push yourself in knowing that still you are a holy nation, a royal priesthood, what God says you are, and still gonna be honored, a vessel of honor and not of dishonor, though you have been through so many things that supposed your life to be dishonored.
You know, there are various things that we can look at. But first, let me go back to the part where you said if I would call it rape. So once you don't consent to something, it is rape. It is also incest because this person is my biological dad. Like I came from him. Um, so it is rape. It's just that at a point, it's like I'm fighting and my fight is not yielding anything. So I'm coming from school and I know that this is going to happen. You know, sometimes I start to cry before I even reach home. By the time I get home and then I cook or I carry water and I know that the night is gonna come, like I dread nights. I dread nights. I don't really sleep now. I wouldn't put it I wouldn't say it was because of that, but I don't know. But I dread nights. I dreaded nights then. I don't know if that's why I don't sleep now at nights. But in terms of how you would get through with God, you know, when the Lord walked the face of the earth, he left various testimonies with us. I'm not going to say stories. He left testimonies with us. Testimonies for us to realize that what you're going through is nothing new. I too have been tempted. I too have gone through this. I too have gone through that. And
Mhm.
one of my favorite characters in the Bible is Job. You know, I'm looking at Job. He's a rich man, you know, he has everything going on for him.
Mhm.
And then it was all taken away. and he was at his lowest, the lowest he has ever been in his life, but he held on. And an important takeaway in Job's story is that he was never alone. God was with him throughout it all. Then you look at Ezekiel in the valley with the dry bones. God was there with him again. Then you look at Daniel in the lion's den. God was there with him again. And then you look at Jonah in the whale's belly. God was there with him again. And throughout all of these testimony, God is there. He's constantly with us. And if I am able to come to a place where God is always with me, or if you are able to come to a place where you understand that God is always with you, then you're going to understand that you don't have to face this alone. You don't ever have to do it alone. Because at the end of the day, if nobody is going to listen to you, your Father in heaven is going to do that. He's definitely going to listen to you. He will never turn a blind eye, and he will never cover his ears to your cries. He's always with you. Sometimes it feels as if you are alone, but I want all of you here who are going through a valley situation, who are faced with abuse or anything that is holding you back, failure or anything. I want you to understand that sometimes you're not here just because, oh, the devil did this and the devil did that and whatever, whatever. What if it's a case where God brought you to this? What if it's a case where God brought me to this? And there's something that he wants me to learn. There's something that he wants me to understand. Because throughout this, I did not die. That means that this was for a purpose. So now it is on me, the onus is on me to figure out what the purpose is so that I can fulfill it. Because he brought me to the valley to show me the dry bones around me. He put me in the lion's den so that I can understand how to fight or how to do all of that. He put me in the fiery furnace like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for me to understand that even when they heat it 7 times hotter, I'm going to walk through this fire with you. And you're going to come out scarless. You're going to come out without a spot. You're going to come out without a burn. It's the same way he'll put me in the whale's belly, and he will say, even though these creatures usually kill people, I'm going to have you protected. So even though sometimes people die from rape or they go crazy or stuff happened to them, God covered me through this for me to understand that he has me protected. And it is the same way he has every single one of you protected. But sometimes he lets you out a little bit for you to have experiences, for you to have testimonies, for you to be the strength for someone else, for you to restore somebody else's faith. And you need to come to a point where you forgive yourself. Understand that it is not my fault why I'm going through this, because guys, rapists allow you to feel as if this is your fault. All of this is you. It is because you did something wrong. It is because you dress this way. It is because you're always looking so pretty. No, it is because of them. Something is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with you. You are being you, and you have a right to be you. So you need to come to a point where you forgive yourself, because sometimes we can be very hard on ourselves. I was extremely hard on myself. I'm like, okay, this is my fault. If I didn't do this, maybe if I did this, this would happen or this would not happen. But forgive yourself. And this is the hardest one of all, but forgive the person who hurt you. Christ died on the cross, and he knows that we would have all sinned and come short of the glory of God. But you know what he did? He still died on the cross, and he already forgave us of the sins that we haven't even committed as yet. So forgive the person. Like, truly, genuinely forgive the person. I know it's gonna be hard. Listen, it's not something you're just gonna jump through. It's a process. It's not something you get over, by the way, because you're gonna remember it always. But it's something that you get through, and it's a process. It's a step. So take your time with yourself. Don't pay attention to my progress or look at Pastor Agualusi's progress. Take your time. Take all the time you need. Progress at your own speed, and never leave God out. Because sometimes we try to do it on our own and we fail, and we end up back at the same place where we're supposed to be elevated from. We're not elevated to the mountaintop at that point. We're still in the valley because we're trying to do it on our own. So we're in the valley and we're seeing all these dry bones around us, and we don't pray to God or ask Him anything, or we don't visit Him concerning the matter. But we're like, okay, I need to get out. There's a shortcut up there. Let me just walk, go up the hill, and then something cuts you when you go up there. Or you roll off the hill and you fall and you break your neck.
Yeah.
But imagine if you had included Him, then He would say, stay here for this time, or go here, take this route instead.
Powerful, powerful answer, Leticia. Um, that's so powerful. A lot of times we're on a road, like there are two roads, and we're on one, and to look on the other side, to wonder, like, this is one question I want you to answer. Like, did you at any point like want to feel like, or want to feel as though God don't care? Like, even though you're so inspired to know that, do you at any point say, God, why me? Like, I mean, questioning like, God,
Guys,
why me? Don't you see? One moment, Ashisha,
I
one moment. One
no
moment.
problem.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for patiently holding. Alrighty, yeah. Go ahead, Letitia.
So I'm not gonna sit here and behave like it was all rose and okay, I just swam over to this good part. No, guys, because a lot of time people are telling you, this can happen, that can happen, but they don't say, okay, this was how I was feeling through the point. I'm not gonna lie you. I was angry at God. I was like, God, you said you love me, and this is what you're doing. Like, okay, just take me away from this world because I am tired. All right. Why can't you help me? Why don't you fix this? I'm asking you to fix it and you're not even looking at me. I'm upset. I'm upset. I think I think at this point I was like, praise God and die. Like I was going through it and I'm like, God, I'm in pain. There's so much agony. There's so much things going on. I'm constantly sad. Like I was a child at that time, but it was like I grew up in the church, so I understand certain things to a certain perspective. And I'm like, this is really what you died on the cross for? Just for me to come on this earth and just be stressed? At one point, I even went to my grandma and I was like, did you do something? What is it that you did that is causing me to go through all of this for my entire life? At another point, I was like, God, we've been going through this for X amount of years, non-stop. When are you going to do something about it? I was doing all of that. I'm not gonna lie. I started to blame shift because I started to blame the people around me. Okay, maybe my mother did something, maybe my father did something coming down in the bloodline, and they said come down to the third and fourth generation. All right, this is it catching me right now. Yes, I was on about it. I was on about
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Powerful. Like, no, like the way we met, like I'm not even sure I remember the day we met. Like, you don't talk much, you're at work, you don't talk. Me, I don't talk if I don't have to talk. And I don't really remember how we met. Do you remember? But anyhow,
we met
anyhow,
we we met when what was happening? I think
on
Corona just came, and we were in the training room because that was where we were working from because we're trying to spread ourselves out, and we were both
any
on the same team.
yeah,
I
okay,
think
yeah.
I think I was on LOA and I just came back. You were already on the team, and I just came back.
And that LOA was basically you going off because you were going through so much, right? At the time.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't remember what was happening at the time. I
Okay.
don't.
So right. So when I saw your work, I mean, you don't talk. So I was asking the team lead if you were on the team. So she was saying yes, but you don't talk. So I was like, okay. But then what you look like at work is nothing that you've been through. And so the quick question I have is basically, how do you go from day to day throughout with all these stories, like all these past, all these things that you've been through, hurt, I want to say in quotation. How do you man over it to say, oh, I have a vision, I have a dream, I just gotta, dress, show up and do my best. How do you do it? Like keep a smile on your face even when you don't have much, your child is there, this is there. I mean, how do you do it? How do you keep the smile? A genuine smile, not a fake one. Yeah.
All right, so a really good question. That's a very good question. I think I've been asked that question so many times. Even after my coworkers read the book, they're like,
Mhm.
I didn't expect this. Like, this is not you, and then they started to ask me a whole bunch of questions. But I am not what I've been through. Let me
Mhm.
say that. So not big. For one, I hate to have people pity me. Like, I don't want to sound anywhere, come off anyway. But I don't know if anybody in the comments do the same. I hate to have people pity me. Like, I feel like I'm going to feel worse when you pity me, and I'm just going to start feeling terrible. So sometimes we have to convince ourselves out of what it is. So every time a negative thought comes to mind, I'm gonna replace that with a positive thought. Um, I have to dress like what I want to become. I have to act like what I want to become. So I'm like, okay, I've been through this. Okay, maybe I don't have enough clothes or whatever the case may be, but I'm going to shower and I'm going to put myself together and I'm going to go out there. You know, um, there's somebody else who I want to inspire. So I'm like, okay, I can't do this for myself only. I'm doing this for my son as well. What happened to me happened. Even though I'm always going to remember it, I have to move
Mhm.
on. Because sometimes we're in our problems or we're in our valleys and we spread bed. Like we spread out our bed and we lay down and we wallow in it. And we're always at that place. But
Mhm.
I have a son, I have somebody who is relying on me. So it's not just me anymore, and it can be whatever. I have somebody who is relying on me. So, with that said, I have to not spread my bed, I have to take up my bed, bring it to another place where it should be, and become who I really should be. Because what happened happened already, and the truth is, I cannot change it. And nothing I'm going to do will change it. And even though I'm a
Mhm.
different person now, what happened is still there. The story is not changed. It's the same story. But I have to make a conscious decision to rewrite this aspect of the story because I don't have control over what happened already. What I have control over is what is going to happen or what is happening right now in this moment.
Mhm. Thank you so much for the way you answered the question. I think so many persons are commenting, but not every comment is coming. I think persons are commenting from YouTube and from the Covenant with God Ministry page on my personal page. I'm not sure. Everything is coming here, so I can bring it up on the on the here. I'm not sure all of them are questions, but I'll soon go to the questions,
That one
people.
was a
All right.
question.
This was
Okay.
a question.
Yeah. The one that you just searched.
Can you see it? Cause I need my
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, I can
If you go
see
ahead,
it.
read it for me, please.
If you're at a place or in a relationship and you've been abused, cheating on and rejected, so many more, can you leave that place even though God said your next level is in that marriage and everything? Hmm. Wow, very deep
You
question.
want to answer the question?
Very, very deep question. Let me just reread it. If you are at a place or in a relationship and being abused or cheated on and rejected so much more, can you leave that place even though God said your next level is in that marriage and everything? All right. I realize you use relationship and marriage. Is it that you're in a relationship looking to get married? Because you still can leave the person before you get to the marriage stage if it's a case where you guys are not married.
And my thing is, how do you know this is what God wants for you? Because God don't promise for us
That
to be suffering. So is it a test, like a test and testimony, or it's a test you're putting yourself a test to? So how do you know that it's God wants you to be into that place of suffering and then it will be yours? You know? I
let
mean, let me
let me
answer on the
quickly
basis.
add
You could go ahead and answer, Letitia. When you answer, then I give my own version. They could answer
let me
on the way you
quickly
understand it.
okay, let me quickly add something. You see, as Christians, we get the notion that we're supposed to suffer, and I hate it. I don't think Christians are supposed to suffer. Yes, we will go through things, but I don't believe that you should be like, okay, if I'm not suffering, if I'm not in dire need, if I'm not starving, if I'm not always at my lowest, then God is not active in my life. It's a lie from the pit of hell. You are a royal priesthood. You have a you have everything in Christ. In Christ you have no lack. And a lot of times we put ourselves in relationships, and it's mentioned in the book Becoming the Wife. A lot of times, because we use the scripture loosely, and you go to every wedding and they say, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And then the thought rises in my head where I'm like, did God join every marriage? Or sometimes we put ourselves in this relationship, and because it is what we're praying for, because it is what we ask for, then we say, okay, this must be God. This must be God. But do you also know that the devil knows the scripture? And do you also know that just like God is listening to your prayers, the devil is also listening to your prayers? And sometimes he will send that just which you ask for. And then if you don't seek God concerning that very thing to ensure it is from God, you're going to accept a counterfeit, because it's going to come as everything you want. It's going to come as everything you prayed for. It's going to come as everything that you told God that you want, but it's going to be a counterfeit because it did not come directly from God. It came from someone else who was listening to your prayers. It came from someone else who saw you at your lowest. So you need to find out if this is what God really wants for you. And if you're in a relationship before it turned marriage and you're already realizing it's turning sour, I wouldn't say to suffer for the sake of marriage. Paul did say it is better to marry than to burn, but he also said that if you can stay, keep yourself, keep yourself.
Yeah. Good question, good answer. I would like to add to that. The last interview I did, woman of God from Texas, Ghana. She was basically saying, how do you know it's the right person? So I'm not sure Ruth is already married, or she's getting married, or she's about to marry, but in the process of knowing the right person, like there's never a right person, it's just you making the person right. That's my opinion, my ideology. So you can meet the devil, and when you meet that devil, you turn that devil into angel. So basically, I would just put this into line with what you said. If the thing has went bad, I don't think God had promised you that place, right? If it went bad, like downhill, I'm not sure God promised you to be at that place. Whilst it can be that God allow it to happen, like Job, like a Job situation, like a Daniel situation, like a Joseph in the pit situation, and so you're gonna get out. But when you're getting out, you gotta get out with messages, with purpose, with things to birth. Like Letitia, she has the book right now. She's speaking into your life right now. You gotta have something that you have taken to the table. So unless there is a purpose behind it, God will allow it to happen. If not, you're just punishing yourself. You're just punishing yourself. So that would be my ideology with the question. I mean, it is you that would have known if it's God or it's you punishing yourself. Only you and the relationship you have with God. but it's not recommendable to stay there if you see that it's not God, but it's just mere your love, because your love can't hold nothing in place to say, okay, this will stop the abuse, this will stop the maltreatment, this will stop the disrespect. It will never ever stop it. Your love alone
and and
doesn't do it.
and
Go ahead.
sometimes, Pastor Agbalusi, sometimes what you're going through in the moment, because sometimes you have to get the counterfeit before you get the real thing, you know. Sometimes you get the counterfeit and you know it different now. So when you get the real deal, you know how to deal with it. Sometimes it's preparation for what's
Hmm.
to come. Better. So don't accept it and say, okay, I'm gonna say this because God said this. But maybe it's preparation for the better that is to come.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I need to get these captions bigger because my eyes ain't working tonight. But okay.
I'll read them for you.
Is it a question? Is this one a question or no?
Uh no, this is a statement. Leandra, she said, you have to read the fine print. There is always something that will allow you to differentiate the carbon copy from the original. We have to have spiritual eyes and be alert on the about the schemes of the devil. If not, we will be snatched away.
Okay. Alrighty. All right. So back to Letitia. So you said you basically overcome because you couldn't control the situation. You keep a smile because it was important to have a smile. Meaning and the bottom line is basically it doesn't really matter what you go through as a person. The aim is to keep positive, to maintain a positive standing, to maintain a because as you know the series is called Your Purpose Still Stand. So though you've been there at that place, though you were the girl they spoke about in high school once, or in the home, or those devil people in their kingdom was talking about and planning against your life, you now still stand because you stand to speak purpose. Not only look at it or envision it, but you wanted it to be a part of you. You engage yourself in becoming purpose. What would you
Mm-hmm.
tell somebody who is struggling right now with depression because of their past? Because I'm sure at one point you might feel as though you're depressed or pressed to a place that nothing makes sense. But what would you tell somebody who is, if it's relationally, spiritually, maybe it's a past, maybe it's not accomplishing anything? What would you tell them? Just to let them know that listen, there's a brighter day ahead. Like,
So I'm gonna respond to the question, and I'm also gonna respond to Ruth because she's in the
sure.
comments. Her last message, she said, every time I try to leave, nothing works out for me and my family, and I always lose everything. Sometimes we we're in a place. Sometimes we're not supposed to be in the place, and we the devil wants us to believe that this is where we should be, and so he tells you everything that's gonna happen if you leave this place. Okay, if I leave this person, this is gonna happen. So in for example, in the case of my child's dad, okay, if I leave him, my child is going to be without a dad. I grew up without a dad for some of my life. My mom grew up without a dad, and it's now becoming a cycle. So then he starts to present everything to me that's gonna go wrong if I should leave this. Okay, if I speak up about my abuse, I might die. Okay, my family might desert me. I might be hated, all of that. And so he presents us with all of these things. But what you need to understand, as I mentioned, there is purpose in your pain. Like this is not your final destination. As the topic says, your purpose still stands. It means that despite what you have to go through, what God set you apart for is still there. What happens, what needs to be done is that you now need to activate it, because we have a lot of things within us, but until you activate it, you're not going to realize it. You're not going to realize how powerful you are until you activate the power that is within you. It's just like something is coming at you and you say, okay, I'm gonna pray like this because I don't want to stamp my feet too hard and I don't want to shake my body too much and I don't want to wake up my neighbor and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. But sometimes you have to get radical with your situation. You have to get radical with your situation. You have to put your foot down and you have to say enough is enough. If you're like me, who is coming from a lineage of people who have been raped, you have to look yourself in the mirror and says, generational curses ends with me and generational blessing begins with me. This is where it stops. It stops at me. Okay, so it happens to me, but it's not going to happen to my children, and it's not going to happen to my children's children. Maybe the people before you didn't activate their purpose, but you have to activate your purpose. Instead of whining and complaining about the situation, how about you look at the situation and say, what do you want me to learn in this process? What is it that you want me to tell your people in this process? What is it that you want me to get from this process? What if you're just building my character? What if I'm going to need an extra layer of strength? What if I'm too easily angered? And you're like, okay, I'm going to humble you. What if I'm judgmental and you're like, okay, leave judgment to me? That's what God is saying. You understand? So you have to understand at the end of the day that no matter what comes at you, no matter what is happening in your life, your purpose still remains, because your purpose can never be taken away from you. It is inside of you. It is for you to find it and activate it. You know, Ruth, every time you're losing, in response to you, every time you're losing something, sometimes we have to lose some things to gain some better things. Sometimes we have to clean our house out, throw out everything. Maybe he gave you a bed and Pastor Agbelusi, she preached on soul tie. I mentioned it in my book, Becoming the Wife, because she did. Sometimes you have to take that bed out. Okay, we used to sleep in that bed. It's time for me to let it go. If I have to start back from scratch, I'm going to be starting without you, because you're not good for where I am going. You're good for where I was, because there was something for me to learn, but you're not good for where I'm going. And where I'm going, I cannot take you with me. Where I'm going is a place of elevation. Where I'm going is to a place of higher heights and deeper depths. And you don't have the character to come with me. You're going to be pulling me back. Sometimes we're stuck in a situation for years because really and truly we're supposed to be at another season. But we keep staying in the season where we're at because this is a place of comfort. This is a place where I'm not going to lose anything. How about you lose everything and make yourself uncomfortable to get to where you need to get to? Because until you're uncomfortable, you're not going to become who you truly need to be. Until you're uncomfortable, you're not going to activate your purpose and find who you were set apart to be. Because when you're in a place of comfort, you don't feel no pain. When you're in a place of comfort, you don't have to worry. When you're in a place of comfort, it's okay. You're always under the shade. There's no sun burning you. But when you put yourself into a place of discomfort, there are pins sticking you. And every time I sit, something is sticking me, so I need to get up. And every time I go here, there's something happening here, so I need to move. When you're in a place of discomfort, sometimes it's also okay. So Ruth, if you have to lose everything to find you, lose everything to find you. The validation that you need was already placed in you. And if ever you feel as if you lose that validation, if ever you feel like that validation is missing, you don't need to find it in a man, a woman, a family member, or anybody. You need to go back to God to find that validation that He already placed in you. Because before you were formed in your mother's womb, He had plans for you.
Yeah.
And just like Job, Ruth, sometimes you're going to lose it all and He's going to replace it tenfold. Sometimes He has to take everything away from us so that when we get what we truly deserve, we will be appreciated. When we get what we truly deserve, we will know how to handle it. Because maybe if he just takes you from this position and then land you into a greater position, you won't understand what it truly means to suffer. But then when he takes everything from you and you lose, when you get everything back, you are like, this is not because of anything that I've done, but this is because the grace and favor of our soon coming King Jesus Christ. So if you have to lose it all to find it, lose it all. Try it. Maybe you've been holding on to this comfort for too long. Sometimes just try it. Try to lose everything and trust him that he is a way maker. Trust him that he parts seas. Trust him that he will allow you to walk on waters. Trust him that he's going to allow you to stay in a whale's belly and you can still survive. Trust him that he's going to put you in the lion's den and nothing shall touch you. Trust him that he's going to put you in the fiery furnace and hatred is going to come at you. You're going to lose everything. You're probably going to be sleeping on the floor. You're probably going to be homeless. You're probably going to have nothing to eat. But at the end of the day, he's going to bring you through it without a scar. He's going to bring you through it and he's going to clothe you in white robe. Trust him that he can take it all away and repair it just by the snap of a finger.
Wow. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. It's it's a bit. A lot of persons, I know a lot of persons are watching, just might be saying, yeah, it's easily said than done. Like that's the main thing. When you do hear somebody motivated to speak in your life or inspired to speak in your life, that's the first thing we say because we know what it is to be sad and depressed and stressed. But as the woman that God speak, as Latisha said, sometimes you just gotta go way down. Sometimes you gotta lose it all before you get it, right? And I think the speak volumes because it helps you to appreciate. Because when you know what it is to not have, when you do have, you look back and say, "Wow, God, you did a great job in my life." So you appreciate at that stage. So it shows you that those days, like Latricia when she was abused, now it's a better time for her because she's not only speaking into people's life, like helping people from all walks of life. Because I mean, it's not just being abused, but going through some other situation that surrounds when she was being abused by her own, not a stranger. You understand? So I think all of this season, all of this pushes her and should push you to, if you're going through any situation similar or same, it should help you to stand. Just keep pushing, keep pressing. Like in no season at all, you should hold your head down like this. Because that time is when you stop standing. The series, it's your purpose to stand. You can never be written out. You can never spoke about. It can never be something that helps somebody on the wayside, going through the motion, unless you stand and embrace yourself, because nobody gonna do it for you. So let's use a quick question. And anybody have any question down here? Let's use your open your read in the comments so you can help me with the question because I'm not really seeing these captions. So if there's questions there, you can let me know. But quick question, we soon wrap up. Right, quick question. Throughout all of this, like if a person is in between two opinion of, you know, wanting to go forward, like they know they have a purpose, they don't know how to start it, like what's the first move, like how would you do with little or no resort? How do you start doing what? Because most time our purpose are from what we go through in life. I can speak on that because I do have a book, Don't Scatter Your Purpose. And I spoke about, being scattered before becoming a minister, like mentally distracted, everything like that is in the book. So I mostly speak from the premises of God calling you to a place to be here, but your mentality, your spirituality, your emotions are scattered somewhere else. Or you don't have money, you don't have the resources to be where you should be at. So persons who are watching, what would you tell them in terms of they wanted to do something but they can't? Seems to get a clear head on it to see if it's God's will, or they lack resources, or they don't know how to start it. What would you tell them? Like just one, like what would you tell them?
What would I tell them? In one word or in Wally word? Um, to be all right. So here's the thing. And you mentioned a very important point before we get to that. You were saying that a lot of times people hear people talk and they said it's easier said than done. And I used to look at it that way too, guys. But then when I came to the situation myself, I can say for myself, I'm not speaking from a place of comfort. I'm not speaking from a place of everything is okay, it's all milk and honey. Let's drink wine and cheers to this. No, I'm speaking from a place of discomfort. I'm speaking from a place of I've been through this. I'm speaking to a place of I'm probably still going through some of this, you know? So when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you personally, not from something else or someone else's perspective. Now, if you don't have the resources, let me tell you something. When you're walking in your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
you lack nothing. When you're walking in your purpose, and this might be easier said than done, but it's the truth. When you're walking in your purpose, God makes a way. When you're walking in your purpose, He sends the people you need. He makes provision. He he makes he sent your destiny helpers. He sent people who are uh like-minded, like they're heading down the same path as you. He sent those people. He sent people who already have strength, or even if they have a little bit of strength, he sent encouragers because he know that sometime along the way you're gonna be weak. He understands that sometimes you're gonna need just a little push. And sometimes it's not that God doesn't want us to do it. Sometimes it's just because of us. We're scared. Okay, if I don't see all the money to build this house, I'm not going to start buying one block at a time. All right. If I don't have the computer to write this book, I'm not going to start to write it in a regular book and then bring it to the printer store. You know, we limit ourselves because we don't have limits in Christ. We don't, there's no limit on our purpose, but we limit ourselves. We place the limits on ourselves. Okay, because this is not here, then I'm not going to do it. But how about you step a foot in there and see what God truly has for you? Let me share something with you, family. When I published my book, and Pastor Agolusi will tell you, I didn't have resources. I didn't have anything. I don't know what to do. I couldn't pay anybody to do anything. I am broke. I'm really, really broke, but I'm like, this story must go forth.
Yes.
This word must go forth. And when the book was published, guys, okay, so I didn't get to print it where it was supposed to be printed. So it was printed here. I had to, it cost a lot of money. To be honest with you, up to the point of the book launch, I owed the printer so much money I can't even mention it here. Up until the point of keeping the book launch, I owed the printer. All right. Then I'm still, even to the point of keeping the book launch, I'm like, probably we should go through with this because it's all failing. Nothing is happening. It's not going to happen. But guess what? God made provisions. Auntie Ruth, she has always been there. When I went and saw how the place was decorated, I even had to ask her if she bought the flowers. She was like, no, I took them from my garden. And I'm like, I didn't expect any of this. I saw chairs and everything. There was a tent. Guys, let me tell you the truth. I was wondering where the people are going to use the bathroom. But guess what? I saw a portable bathroom there. And up to this day, I don't even know how it was paid for. But God makes provision. I'm like, okay, who is going to host this event? And Pastor Agbalusi, as a author and pastor, she came out, she came out as a public figure to make this happen, with her mom as well. And I'm like, okay, who is going to do this and who is going to do that? There was Anthony Bailey. He's a recording artist, and he came out. He didn't charge a cent, guys. He did pictures and everything. And I don't know how all of this comes about, but because he's a faithful God, and when you are walking in your purpose, he makes provision. He was making provision for me. So I was worrying and I was limiting myself, but he was making provision for me. And it is the same way he will make provision for you. But how about you stop doubting yourself? How about you take the first step? You know, how about you take the first? It's just like it was Peter walking on the water, right? Was Peter? Well, it was just
Yeah,
like
then
the disciple walking on the water. It was just
yeah,
like the disciple walking on the water. You know, when he was supposed to make the first step, he limited himself. But when he
mhm,
took the limit off, he realized that he was walking on the top of the water. Who could that be but God? The Lord made provision. And guys, if there's a book on your heart, write it. If it means that you're going to put one word on your cell phone, write it. If it means that you're going to have to write it in this book because you don't have a computer, write it.
that's how I did
And then
mine.
if it means you have to, could you repeat that?
That's how I did mine.
You
Yeah,
see?
I wrote 2 hours in the morning going to work, driving to work. No, going to work on the bus. 2 after 3, 2 every morning. 2 hours. I write about 3 pages until I got a computer. In the midst of that, my computer crashed, and I got another one, and then I continue. So you start from somewhere. Pencils are
Start from
cheap.
somewhere, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you see that family? No, she was taking 2 bus to work, but guess what? She was not like, okay, I'm already tired from all this traveling. I don't need to write. She's still writing because there is a purpose. And for all of you who knows Pastor Agbalusi, she's gone to Africa. She's gone to she's traveled the world. She's been on platforms here and there speaking, and she has even further to go. She has other places to reach, other people to reach. And it all started on a bus, writing in a book. So what says you?
Yeah.
What says you? God will make the provision for the people you will need to bring it to life. Because when Pastor Agbalusi said to me, okay, let me edit the book for you, I'm like, how am I going to find the money now? She didn't charge me. When she said, okay, let me be your MC, she didn't say charge me. You know, the onus was now on me to say, okay, if I have something, let me bless the woman of God because she's been availing herself, you know. So God makes the provision for what needs to be. He makes the provision for your purpose.
Right. So there is really no barriers in you completing purpose, you walking into where God wants you. You know, I've been seeing so many rest in peace on my timeline since the year began. So many people that I know closer, like I know them, dying, and I'm like, I know these people have plans, they have purposes, they want to do things. But if every day we get up and like, okay, let me just wait until it happens, let me wait until next year, let me wait until my birthday, let me wait until, and we keep waiting, nothing will happen. Nothing at all. There's a saying says, if you don't work, nothing works. If your faith don't work, nothing works. If you don't activate it, it will not come to pass. If you don't flick the light on, if I didn't come press go live this live, you people will be looking at the poster and saying, where is woman of God? Where is the t-shirt? They're not on. But we gotta press go live for you to be seeing this. So I'm just saying, as Letitia said, the provision is nothing to be worried about. The good thing is that you have a vision. The good thing is you see that
Mhm.
you love children. You need a daycare. The good thing, because we're not just speaking on the writing premises. Not all of you like to write or read,
Yeah,
right?
not
Some of you
everybody
want to
likes to write.
sing, like me. You will soon hear my song on your radio. But anyways, you know, I'm just saying, like a whole lot of things you want to do, and you might be mentally crippled because you've been through so much, and this so much is on your your now list. It's not in the past. You've put it, you've brought it forward to your now situation. So you're saying, oh, this is why I'm failing because this happened and this happened. You keep scarring yourself. It's time for you to walk from that car, walk from the place of darkness and turn on the light.
Mm-hmm.
Heal yourself internally, pull yourself, take a day from everything, everyone. If you gotta just remove yourself from just hibernate a little bit and say and inhale because your purpose gotta stand. If your purpose doesn't stand, you come to the world to exist and gonna leave us. Like, did you come here though? Were you birthed? You understand? You need to make yourself be known. at the funerals. Those funerals are 15 and 10 people. People must say the funeral happened yesterday. She was a good person. He used to do this thing. She was the one that did this thing. She wrote about this thing. He built this place. Those kind of things. So it's not for you to say, oh, I'm insufficient. I don't have the resources. I don't have this. I don't have that. It's just for you to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody can do it.
It's for you to make the first step, of course. And as Shanique says there, she says, God makes provision for the vision. And it is no lie, guys. He does make provision for the vision. And she's a barrier breaker. So you know where she's coming from. She's the author of Breaking Your Barriers. So you know she's been breaking barriers way
I need that
before
book.
this show. So don't doubt yourself. It's just for you to make the first step. And I
Yes.
always say, because this is my motto: you cannot come here and live an unlived life. An unlived life means you never walk in your purpose. You just came here, you spend 25 years, you spend 30 years, you spend 50 years, and you just die. And it was like, oh, she was born on whenever, he was born on whenever, they died. May their soul rest in peace. No, walk in your purpose. Believe in yourself. The truth is, nobody will believe in you until you believe in yourself. And people believe in you as much as you believe in you. So if you're promoting yourself this strong, even if nobody believes you in the beginning, and okay, they think your book is stupid and your book is full of mistakes, and okay, this house don't make any sense, it should have been set this way, maybe they shouldn't put anything on top, maybe they're like, um this drawing is for the fire, I don't need to see this, nobody's gonna buy this. If you keep promoting yourself, if you keep making the first step, if you keep doing what you are meant to do, the things are gonna happen that needs to happen for it. And one day, just like that, it's gonna just launch out. Because guys, you might be going through it for years upon years upon years. And one moment it could just turn around. It's just like how you could be waiting for a husband for years upon years upon years. And just like that, guess what? He just makes a way. And you're like, oh, I've been with this person for 12 years and they never asked me to marry them. But this person, I've been with them for this time and they've said this and whatever, and so on and so forth. When the time is right, he will make it happen. All you need to do is have faith, trust him, believe in him, and understand that at the end of the day, he will make a way.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful because I remember there was this little voice when I was writing my first book that says, "Who's gonna read your book though? Who knows you?" And every night I sit at midnight because I really focus at midnight, especially in prayers. I said, "Let me just write when it's midnight. It's much quieter and peaceful." So when I was writing, I hear that voice, "Who's gonna purchase your book? Who knows you?" But today I can say my book is in Nigeria, is in UK, is in Canada, is in Uganda. It is in so many countries that, and I didn't really know, like I didn't even think about these countries before. I was like, I just want to write this story. Like this story need to get out because adversaries are real. And I did struggle at birth. But that's another story for another day. So as Letitia said, it's when the time is right, and there's always a timeline when God meets you to do what you have to do. The timeline is always there. Sometimes it's open and sometimes it's just there for you to do another. You call it test. I call it test because a lot of times we are brought to do something and we try to do it before time, and that's not the perfect time. But if we try again, we'll get it,
Mhm.
right? So I always think there's always a
Yeah.
timeline. Everything that happens in your life, a timeline is on it. But it's you and God. You gotta connect with God. You gotta ask God, what's your purpose? Like, how you gonna do it? Like, what's the first step? And then you will definitely get it. We want to close. Any questions? I don't know if Letitia have anything else to say. I want you guys to go and get her book. She's a powerful writer. And for those who are planning to become a wife too, get her second book, Becoming a Wife. That's a powerful book. And I wish I had a picture to show you, but I don't have it
You'll get
here.
your
It's
copy
on.
soon.
But I just
You'll
want
get
to
your
say
copy
that.
soon.
Go ahead.
You'll get your copy soon.
Okay, amazing. Right. So I just want to say in any aspect of your life, you're not inadequate, you're not insufficient. If your family think as though you were under, no, not today, you are over. And you're gonna get it. I want to pray a real quick prayer for you and then I'll hand over to Letitia to share her last words if you have any. Right. Just want to say God will help you to get wherever you're trying to get at. If you're stagnated, if you're feeling behind schedule, if you're feeling that there's so many procrastination that have been brought to your life from generation to generation, like nobody in your family have ever done that thing and it's in a call for your head to do it, you just need to pray on it and trust God and start doing it. I pray that you will get that divine speed, that divine intervention into your life today, even now, in the name of Jesus. You will not lack with the provision. You will not lack in the mentality. You will not lack. You will not be depressed so you can press. You must get there and you will get there in the name of Jesus. It is well with you. And Letitia, you can go ahead and let us know if you have any final words. I don't know if there's any question here. God bless you, Jabez. God bless you, all of you that are
Um,
coming on to different platforms. God bless you. I see you. Go ahead, Letitia.
just to remind you guys before I go that the limit is in your mind. This is where it is. The limit is not on God because He's all powerful and He's all knowing. He can do anything. So the limit is here. Take the limit off. Your limitation cap, take it off and go forth. Walk into your purpose because you are the one doubting yourself. God is not doubting you. He knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So take that doubt off. Take that coat off that's holding you back. And as much as we are children of God, sometimes you have to let some people go in order to get to where you need to go. And that doesn't just go for unbelievers, that go for children of God as well. Because sometimes we're holding to onto something because it's a place of comfort. But go to the place of comfort. Go to where the dry bones are, where you're uncomfortable because all the things around you are bones. All the things around you are dry. They're hatred. They're unloving. They are failure. All of that. Because when you come out of that place, you're going to come out refreshed, renewed, rejuvenated. You're going to come out with a different character. And at the end of the day, trust God. Trust God. Don't put your trust in your car because it might fail you while you're going to work. Don't put your trust in your home because it could very well burn down. Don't put your trust in a man or a woman. Don't put your trust in your children because after 18, they could leave. Put your trust in God. At the end of the day, trust Him to do what He says He will do. The reason He's not coming through for you, or the reason you're not seeing Him coming through, is because you're doubting Him. Why would I want to prove myself to you if you're doubting me? You should know that I am all powerful. You should know that I am God. It is me who took the nails in my hand for your sake. It is I who have went up into the mountains to show you that I too will be tempted. And I can get through it and you can get through it too. Nothing has befallen you that has not befallen anyone else before. It is not a new situation. Someone else went through it. The onus is on you to get through it. Someone is banking on you to live, to go through what you're going through. They're banking on you to get through your trials. They're banking on you to tell your testimony so that they can be healed. They're banking on you to tell your testimony so that they can be delivered. They're banking on you to leave that abuse so that they can realize that I too can leave the abuse. Someone is banking on you. They're going to live because of what you went through. Don't rob the world of what was placed in you. As I always say, your purpose is not for you. It's not for you to marvel in and behave as if you're better than everybody else. Your purpose is for the world. Do not rob the world of what God placed inside of you.
Yeah. You heard it from the woman of God herself. Been raped by her father, been abused by her baby father. So many things you've been through, but here she is speaking to you today into your lives, into your home, into your heart tonight, because her purpose must stand. It still stands, and it must stand. You go get her book.
And
She's a simple, sweet. Go ahead.
just before you go, I want people to understand that it's not gonna be easy. There are a lot of times I'm telling you, my neighbors probably think I'm mad. There's a lot of times when I have to walk up and down in the house and say, "Get thee behind me, Satan," or I have to be like, I have to look in the mirror and I have to say, "I am powerful, I am strong, I am beautiful." There are days when I feel like I'm weak and I'm like, "No, Letitia, you are enough." If nobody tells you, tell yourself, because he already placed the validation in you. And as I said earlier, if you can't find that validation, don't look for it around for the people in the people around you. Go to God and see, go back to get the validation that he already placed in you, because he already validated you. He already called you royal. He already called you beautiful. He already set you apart. He already said that you were marvelous. He already said that he loved you. He already said that he would have been faithful for you. So to you. So don't wait on people to be faithful to you. Be faithful to you. Be loving to you. Be kind to you. How is it that you get up every day and you give 100% of yourself to everybody else, but you can't even find 50% to give to yourself? You give 100% of yourself when you're out there, and then when you come back in, you cry and you behave as if there's nothing left in you. Kill the negativity with the positive. Every time something comes to you and say you are not enough, say I am enough. Every time it looks as if it's gonna fail, say I have strength, because I know who set me apart. Every time it looks as if somebody is going to allow you to be angry, say I have peace, because I know who is my father. Speak to yourself. If nobody else speaks to you, speak to yourself. And don't ever stop speaking it until you believe it. If it means that at 3 o'clock you're gonna get up and walk around your house and say, I am blessed and highly favored, I am above and not beneath, and whatever else you need to say, then say it. Whatever you need to do to bring yourself out of this place, bring yourself out of this place.
Too powerful, too powerful. So whatever you need, covenant keepers, those who are coming on for the very first time, those who've been watching me since and stop and come on tonight, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We're here with a woman of God, a very young, talented woman. She's been on television. I'm yet to get there. She have been there. She have done interviews. She have been fighting for women who have been raped and abused. She have been speaking. Her voice is so loud. So tonight, I thank you all so much for joining, and God bless you all. I mean, we're gonna have some more of these series from persons from all walks of life, but still have the one purpose: standing. Even though so many things have scattered it, so many things have made it gone in the past, they still stand today. That's what we'll be focusing on in this series. On Saturday, we're gonna have a woman of God and a man of God, and the platform, the Richards with the Wives series. So you can stay tuned on the platform. I want to thank you, Letitia, for taking the time out. I know your baby might be sleeping by now. Me too. I need to get some rest because I got work tomorrow, and tomorrow is my first anniversary in my marriage. So I need to go and get some
Happy
rest.
anniversary!
Yes, thank you so much. And I just want to appreciate everybody that came on and shared the video tonight. You know, it was really, really, really a good time tonight. And I hope you guys have been strengthened in some areas, because guess what? If you got no strength, you got no life. Strength and health is wealth. So you just need to got those two and you're fine. Go ahead and be healed internally so you can be better tomorrow. God bless you all. And thank you so much again, Latricia. God bless you.
You're welcome. Goodbye, family.
Alrighty.